Guten Tag. I hope you are having an awesome day. I'm Dr. Bailey, Gear Up Project Director. Before moving to Grand Island, I was a university professor, and for over 20 years I taught college students in geography, environmental studies, public speaking, and human communication. And it has always been a great joy of my life to be able to share my love of learning and life with my college students. And today I'm really proud to introduce you to two of my former students who came to Grand Island to visit me.
My name is Alejandro. My parents and myself were from Colombia. Moved here when I was about 12 years old. That was 21 years ago. So I'm an interpreter, online interpreter, and I've worked in a lot of different fields, activism, politics a little bit, recruiting, but now I'm working independently as a remote freelance interpreter.
My name is Alejandro as well. I am originally from Mexico, so is my mother and my father is from Germany. I grew up in Mexico, and until about 18 years ago, I moved to the States when I was finishing high school. Today I work as an urban planner for an international organization in Washington, D.C., where I currently reside. And our work consists of doing research and also providing consultation services to city officials to help them make city transportation systems more environmentally friendly.
When I was in high school, I didn't think I was going to be able to go to college. Because number one, I didn't have the grades, and I was kind of a little bit of a troublemaker, skipping classes and just not paying attention, and a few behavioral issues that my parents got called to the office in high school. So I didn't think I was going to be able to go to college, but I really wanted to go to college. One, at the time I thought it was just practical in order to be able to have more income, make better money, and not have to work super hard. But once I started going to college, it really became the love of learning, to be honest. I just loved the format, how it was different in college, how independent it was, and it was just a much more friendly environment, a lot friendlier than high school, not as obsessed with like exterior things, but more about the love of learning.
I decided to go to college because I knew it would be something I would need later in life to be able to build the foundation of a long-term professional career. I wasn't very convinced about it at first because I really had no idea what I wanted to do. I just had a vague idea of subjects that were interesting to me. And at the time I was more focused on an athletic career. I was a professional athlete and competing for the US canoe and kayak national team. That was my first priority. In fact, I wasn't a very great high school student. I wasn't very into learning the subjects, and that really changed when I went to college. And mostly because of the peers that I met who influenced me or sort of transferred that passed on to me that love for learning, interest for learning.
I experienced two big struggles. The first one, I was trying to join the military, as I mentioned earlier. I was trying to join the Navy. My mom wasn't having it, so we started. That created a little bit of a divide that expanded over several months, and eventually I ended up having to leave my parents' house, and it was difficult, because I thought I was going to drop out, and I remember talking to Dr. Bailey and being like, I might not be able to make it, I might not be able to stay in college, and I'm going to have to work, or I might have to just try to join the military faster than I thought I was going to. And she motivated me to stay, and she gave me the example of her own life story, how much she had struggled and all the loss and things that she had been through. And yeah, that inspired me a lot. Inspired me a lot to stick with it. and I don't regret it for a second. I've needed it. Like, if I didn't have the degree, I wouldn't have been contracted to work in the field that I'm working now, where I feel like I have freedom and I enjoy it, and I'm making a difference in the community. So that was the first struggle. It had to do, mainly really it had to do with housing both times, and in financial hardship. And then the second time, I underwent a financial hardship because sometime after I finished my associates, I ended up joining the Army and the Army Reserves, and I was supposed to get some benefits, but the new administration of the university where I was attending made a bunch of mistakes because they were transitioning and they were merging with another university to make it one big one, and they made some mistakes. So I ended up not getting basically the money that I was supposed to get for financial aid through the military. So I ended up basically moving to the woods as a form of protest, and also because I didn't have money. And that was a big struggle. And again, the seeds, I would say, that I had planted years earlier, or that were planted, I don't know if it was that I planted it, but maybe it's a communal thing, but the seeds that had been planted years earlier in the communications department was actually what allowed me to make it through that struggle, because I needed one of the mistakes that they made, and one of the reasons why I didn't get the money is because they said that I was ready to graduate, but then it turned out later that I actually needed one more credit hour, and so there was a communications class specifically that offered that, which was debate. And I had already participated in debate and done that. That was an amazing experience, and that was also thanks to the communication department and the people that I met through Dr. Bailey. And in that same semester, I ended up joining a tournament, the Great Latino Debate, which was taken over now. The debate club had been now taken over by the new generation of students, and they were taking it to new heights. And so they had a Great Latino Debate, and I joined the debate, and I won. And so that gave me money to be able to support myself and finish off the semester, and made a lot of great friends throughout the entire experience. So that's how I was able to overcome that challenge.
I encountered a few struggles. One, I had difficulty maintaining the discipline and perseverance to finish through all my classes and complete the degree. It almost felt like an endless task that just kept getting more difficult and more difficult. And it was particularly difficult because I was maintaining my athletic career, training full-time, and also on top of that I had 2 part-time jobs that made it very difficult to fit school into that very busy lifestyle. And emotionally it was also a little bit difficult as well, when I had peers and family looking at me taking up to 7 years to finish a bachelor's degree as something that's basically not good. When I had peers already working professionally and had finished their degree a while ago, I was in my late 20s still struggling to finish. But in the end I made the realization that everyone has their own story and their own needs, and it doesn't really matter when and how long it takes you to finish a degree, as long as you are doing what you need to do, what fits with your needs and your goals. And when I realized that I was doing what was best for me, and that there was an advantage to being older, and also that allowing me to internalize the new subjects based on my long-lived experiences, then I approached finishing the rest of the classes with more confidence, and that gave me, and also loving the subject matters that I was studying also helped me put in the extra hours to get through those harder elective classes towards the end of the degree.
So when Alejandro and I met in college, the first time that I became homeless, he took me under his wing and he allowed me to live in his couch, in his living room, stay in his couch. We like the same music, we had really awesome conversations, a lot of fun parties too, and with made a promise. We said, you know what? At some point, we're going to just travel the world and have fun. Just take 1 year to just travel as much as we can and get as far as we can. Many years went by, and this was back in 2008 when we talked about this stuff, right over 2020, so it's been 12 years. So yeah, 12 years went by, and in October of last year, October 2019, after a very, very difficult year, 2019 was a difficult year for me professionally because I was trying to figure out how to work more independently. The pandemic hits, and then Alejandro gives me a call out of the blue, and he's like, yo, how would you like to go road trip in the USA? I'm like, what? Of course I would love that. So he bought an RV, and he sent me some pictures, and he's like, okay, well, let's get started with the preparations and the plans. This was what, like maybe 2 months ago?
Yeah.
So he said, we basically started talking about it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So I packed all my stuff and got everything ready and set up. I was already a minimalist. I had already been minimalizing my life for a year. Slowly, but now I basically achieved the place where I wanted to be. So both coincidences hit. The pandemic hit, I was already working online remotely, and I was already a minimalist, and I love the outdoors and all that stuff. So the opportunity came, so then I flew to Washington, D.C., spent about a month there hanging out at Alejandro's place and helping him a little bit with things around while he fixed his apartment, and try to do things that would make it more convenient, work as a team to make sure that this plan would come to fruition. And then about 2 or 3 days ago, we got on the road and just traveled to several states and made it here. Oh, and another coincidence, Dr. Bailey sent me a message not too long ago when I was in Washington, just saying hello. So I told her everything that I was doing and all the plans, and she told me, oh, this is on the way, you should come visit. And we were just only too happy to come and see Dr. Bailey, in rural times. So yeah, that's how we ended up in this beautiful place, this beautiful and magical place, actually. And we just on our journey to Colorado to pick up the RV and continue exploring the West Coast.
Well, that is great, and I am so happy and proud that you are doing well now in your adult life, and you have careers that you love and that have empowered you to still earn a living during a pandemic because you're able to work remotely, and that's also provided you the opportunity to go on this great adventure and explore the wild and wonderful places in the United States. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.